What is shakin', Internet? This is Salt bringing you the How to Tank for Dummies Tortos LFR guide. Tortos is the 4th boss in the Throne of Thunder raid, or the first boss in the Forgotten Depths LFR instance. The trash before Tortos is mostly forgettable, but it hits hard. The big greater bats will silence people close to them, which shouldn't matter to you, but watch if the healers get silenced. The trash will prepare you for the boss a bit, though, because the smaller bats here are similar to what you'll see on the boss. Tortos himself is pretty straightforward. Simply have one tank assigned to Tortos himself, and one tank assigned to the rest of the area. First, Tortos' tank. The tank on Tortos has a very simple job. Stand there and tank the boss. Tortos doesn't move, so it shouldn't be very hard. He will regularly cast Snapping Bite, which is a big damaging move. You should use any cooldowns you have available when tanking a Snapping Bite. For the other tank, they're going to get some exercise. Tortos will first summon Whirling Turtles with the Call of Tortos move. It's a mouthful right there. These can't be tanked and will spin around like crazy. If they get close, or if you get close, or if they get close to you, they will knock you up. Nothing too spectacular, though. Every so often, vampiric cave bats will come down from the ceiling. Pick these up quick. They will easily chomp any squishy mage in seconds, and if you don't get them quick, they'll spread out and make your life miserable. Note that if you're low on health, these bats will actually heal themselves by attacking you, so use cooldowns when burning these down. That's when you want to use your cooldowns. And that pretty much covers all of the basic tanking strategy. Now I'm going to give a brief overview of the rest of the fight. The Whirling Turtles will actually die by going into their shell and staying dormant for the rest of the fight. Then, if you're near them, you can press your big fancy action button and kick them forward where you're facing. If that shell goes flying and hits Tortos, he'll actually be interrupted. Why is this important? That would be because around every 45 seconds, Tortos will cast Furious Stone Breath. If you kick a shell at him while he's doing so, he will be interrupted. If not, the whole raid will take a lot of damage. Since this is LFR though, everyone will see a shiny button and click it as soon as possible, meaning you should expect every single Furious Stone Breath to go off. It does some damage over about 5 seconds, every half second or so, but it's not too crazy in LFR. It's not too bad. Additionally, Tortos will do a Quake Stomp quite a bit. This briefly stuns everyone and does a small percentage of your health in damage. Additionally, it triggers bonus rock falls. Rock fall is something that happens throughout the fight, leaving blue circles on the ground where stalactites will fall and hurt everyone that are standing in them. They're pretty avoidable most of the time, but when Tortos Quake Stomps, these start coming very quick, so be aware. And that just about covers the entire fight. So let's review. Tank on Tortos. Stand there, look pretty, and use cooldowns when Snapping Bite comes down. The Ad Tank. Stand there, look pretty, avoid turtles that are spinning if you can, and grab all the bats when they show up. Also, avoid falling rocks. Rinse and repeat. It happens over and over and over again. The only thing to note is that later on, near the end of the fight, he'll actually start casting Call of Tortos more. So you'll see a lot more turtles, Whirling Turtles come out. I haven't actually been here on normal yet, but it's very important to get those Furious Stone Breaths interrupted. Everything else is very similar, with lots more damage. I hope you've enjoyed this quick guide for dummies. Please like, favorite, subscribe, all that jazz, and as always, you keep it salty, Internet.